Hello everyone. We have seen in the previous lecture as from the unit 1 dimensionality reduction and the subset selection. Now the topic from the unit 1, that is principal component analysis. Okay. So before the studying principal component analysis, we must know the two concepts, that is what is overfitting and underfitting. So first of all, we will see what is actually the overfitting. Okay. Now let us consider the model with the x and y axis, that is whatever the curve shape you are going to see here, this curve shape with the small dots. So these curve shape, you can call it as model, hypothesis or function. Now we have seen the training phase and testing phase of the machine learning algorithm. Now whatever the data points are there, or circles drawn on the curve shape, these are nothing but the data points. These are nothing but the data points, and curve shape occur is the output of the training model. So this is nothing but the, whatever the curve shape is there, this is nothing but the machine learning model. And this machine learning model is plotted into the two dimension, that is x axis and y axis. Okay. Now the curve which you can see here in this diagram, in this graph, so this curve almost satisfies each and, or almost covers each and every dot on the curve, so every single point is has been covered with the help of this curve, that is called as a overfitting. That means data points are overcrowded, that is called as a overfitting. Okay. Next is underfitting. So there is much more difference between overfitting and underfitting. Now in underfitting, this line we can say, again this line is the machine learning model, or we can say as it is hypothesis or it is a function. Now whatever the data points you can see here with the help of these dots, so that dots are nothing but the data points. So this curve doesn't concern about all these data points. So hardly one or two points are has been covered with the help of this training model. So whatever the points are there, or whatever we are seeing here, it is nothing but the training model or machine learning model, which is under the training phase. Okay. That means only some of the points has been covered with the help of these model. So it is called as a underfitting. It is again in the two-dimensional space. Now for more specification of overfitting and underfitting, let us take an example. If we want to output is whether the given shape is ball or not. Okay. Now in case of underfitting, for example, if we say that we have defined the rules, or we have seen the attributes or decided the attributes, that is if the shape is sphere, then it is the ball. If shape is sphere, then it is the ball. Okay. Now only one variable or only one attribute has been considered here for the underfitting, that is sphere shape is the ball. Now take an example of this fruit, orange fruit. Now orange fruit shape is also sphere, so we can call it as it is ball. But is it ball? No, it is not ball, it is the fruit. Okay. So why this happens? Why the machine learning model calls orange shape as ball? Because very less attributes, very less variables are considered to decide the output of the training model. So that's why this problem is called as a underfitting. Okay. Now let us consider the case for overfitting. Now here, for again considering the same example, that is if we want to decide whether the shape is ball or not, whether the given object is ball or not. Now we can consider much more features or variables or attributes. So attributes can be, in case of overfitting, attributes are sphere. Then we can play with the help of, with that shape. Then the next attribute is we cannot eat that, and radius of the shape must be 5 centimeter. Okay. Now let us take an example. What will happen if we take this shape as input? Now this is a training model. In case of underfitting, it is a training model, and we are going to test the orange fruit, and it gives us the error. Okay. Now in case of overfitting, we have considered the attributes as we have considered attributes. Okay. Now attributes are sphere. Then we can play with the help of that shape or that object. We cannot eat that object, and radius is 5 centimeter. Now let us assume that this shape, spherical shape, is ball. Actually a ball. So take an example of first thing, that is first one, that is now here sphere. Okay. Now sphere is there. Sphere, yes, it is a sphere. Then we are considering this as the ball. So we can play with this. Yes, we can play with this. We cannot eat, as it is a ball, we cannot eat. Okay. Next, that is this one. Okay. This one radius is 5 centimeter. But for this object, what is the radius? Radius is 10 centimeter. Now, this feature or attribute does not satisfied by this object. So here we can conclude that for overfitting, we can conclude that this shape or this object is not a ball. Why it is not a ball? Because we have considered the radius as specifically it is less than equal to 5 centimeter, and here for the given object radius is 10 centimeter. Now this is the case of overfitting. Why this is the case of overfitting? Because specifically with the help of much more attributes are defined, much more dimensions are defined, and every rule or every defined attribute must be satisfied by the given object or for the testing data. So that's why this is a case of overfitting. That means each and every data point, each and every testing data must satisfy the condition, So that's why whatever the dots or data points are there, they are all drawn on the curve shape only. Why? Because they all satisfy the given condition of the testing data. That's why they are here. Okay. Now, in this case, how we can reduce, or what is understood what is overfitting and underfitting? Understood or not? Okay. Now, next is what is the concern of overfitting and underfitting in principal component analysis. Now, first one, that is, if we take an example of two-dimensional space, again it is related with the x and y axis. Okay, this is the shape or hypothesis or model or function. This line represents the hypothesis, model or function again. Now यहाँ पे हम कैसे बोल सकते हैं कि these points are almost satisfying this condition. That means this is the case of overfitting. This is the case of overfitting. Now, what is actually the principal component and analysis? Principal component analysis क्या है? So, principal component analysis मतलब क्या? Overfitting का क्या problem है? Overfitting में more number of features है. So, these features must be reduced so as to reduce the complexity. Overfitting में क्या था? Number of features क्या थे? Much more number of features are there. So that features must be reduced. So if radius of an object which satisfies all these three conditions, it is not 5 centimeter, then it is not a ball. Though we have taken an example to test the data, we have taken an example of ball only. So it is our machine learning model describes that this is not a ball. So why this happens? So this happens because of more number of features are there. So if we remove this feature of radius is equal to 5 centimeters, so what will happen? We can easily machine learning model, it easily predict that this object is a ball, So to reduce the overfitting problem, principal component analysis is there for reducing the overfitting problem. Now, what is principal component analysis? What is principal component analysis? Now, we have to reduce the dimension attributes. Now, what are the dimensions? This is first dimension and this is second dimension. First dimension in the form of x-axis and second dimension in the form of y-axis. Now, whatever line you are going to see here, so this line is nothing but the machine learning model or hypothesis or the function, and that function is satisfied by all these data points. Now, all these data points satisfy the given function. Now, here we have to decide the principal components. Now, what do you mean by the principal components? So, in simpler case, for this example, we can say that these are the views. Principal components are nothing but the views. Now, two views are there. First one we can see from here and second one we can see from here. So first one, it is nothing but PC1. So if we take view from this side, we will get the points like this, like in PC1, which is nothing but the principal component 1. Now principal component 1 has view as one single line with the number of data points or attributes. Now, if we take view from this side, okay, and we will draw the imaginary line from this to this point, then we can get, though we can see a line as a single point from this view, we can draw imaginary line here, and from that imaginary line also, if we map these all points to that imaginary line, we have to map these points. That means mapping of points will be done like this. This point will be treated here on the line. Again, this point will be treated here on the line. Same case, if we draw a view, then this will look like this. So though the points are like this, okay. Now, how many principal components we can define? So principal components can be defined as with the help of a simple rule, that is number of principal components are less than equal to the number of dimensions. Now, how many number of dimensions are here? 2 dimensions, x-axis and y-axis. 2D figure is there, so 2 dimensions are there, x-axis and y-axis. So how many number of principal components will be there? 2 or less than 2. Because what is the rule? Number of principal components are less than equal to the number of dimensions. Now, what will happen if number of dimensions are more and number of principal components are also more? So number of dimensions are more than 2, that is more than 2. So dimensions are more than 2. That means it is 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional, or more than 2-dimensional space. Okay. Now, how many number of principal components are there? So suppose it is 3-dimensional, then 3 principal components, up to 3 or less than 3 principal components we can define. Now, one can ask that if principal components are, for example, for 5-dimensional space, principal components are, we have defined principal components as PC1, PC2, PC3, PC4, and PC5, up to 5. So how we can decide the priority of these principal components? So there is no rule for the priority, no rule for the priority. That means we can decide PC1 as the prior level, or we can define first the PC1, that is principal component 1, then principal component 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. Okay. And one more rule is there for the principal component, that all dimensions must be orthogonal. Now, what is meaning of this? All dimensions are orthogonal. Means what? All dimensions must be independent of the each other. That means principal components must not be dependent on the each other. So then and then only we can consider it as a separate principal component. Suppose principal component 1 and 2, these are dependent on each other. So these two are not different. These two are single principal component only. So the rule says that we have to define the principal components as they are independent. And first rule is number of principal components must be less than equal to the number of dimensions. Okay. Now, we have seen the example of this, that is how we can define the principal component analysis. So these are the technical terms, that is how mapping from d-dimensional space to a new K is less than d-dimensional space with minimum loss of information. Now in our case, we have considered for recognizing a shape, an object as a ball, we have considered that how many features, attributes we have considered. It must be a sphere, then we can play with this and we cannot eat, and the radius of an object must be less than equal to 5 centimeters. So these are the dimensions we have considered, that is sphere, then play, eat, and radius less than equal to 5 centimeters. So how we can reduce these dimensions? We can reduce these 4 dimensions into the 3 dimensions. 3 dimensions are sphere, then eat and play. But 4th dimension, that is radius less than equal to 5 centimeter, we can remove this dimension, as this does not carry any this is redundancy, or it has minimum loss of information. Now, as the dimensions of the data increases, it is difficult to visualize it, and perform the computations on it also increases. So when we are considering more and more number of dimensions, then visualization is also difficult, and computations are also increased. So mainly there are 2 strategies to reduce the dimensions. First one is remove the redundant dimensions and only keep most important dimensions. First one is remove redundant dimensions, and second one is keep most important dimensions only. Now, 2 concepts are there. First one is a variance. Variance means what? It is a measure of variability, or it simply measures how spread the data set is. How spread the data set is means what? It means if the model is like this with the help of yellow color, so how data points are far from this model, from this function, that is called as a variance. Then next is covariance. So covariance, it is a measure of extent to which corresponding elements from two sets of order data move in the same directions. So we have to consider here two sets of order data, and now if we consider two sets of order data, now we have to measure the extent to which corresponding elements move in the same direction. So these three diagrams are here, which represents the large negative covariance. If the data points are like this, we can say as these are the large negative covariance. If it is spread, then it is near zero covariance. If it is like this straight line, then it is large positive covariance. Now covariance formula is covariance of x and y. X and y are nothing but two order data sets, and here summation of xi minus x bar multiplied by yi minus y bar divided by n, that is total number of elements in a set. Okay. Now the directions of u and v are called as a principal components. The directions of vectors u and v are called as a principal components. So it is PCA for data representation. So it is a data representation and it is for the dimensionality reduction. Now how PCA works? The first step is to gather the reliable raw data from the sample based on the questionnaires. Then the second step is we have to calculate the correlations between the variables. Next is principal components are extracted and presented as a table. Now principal components in our case are view 1 and view 2. Okay. Then principal component analysis table is truncated. Components are reported in order by eigenvalue and by the proportion of total variance. What are the objectives of PCA? So PCA helps to extract the most important information from the data table and compress the size of the data set by keeping only important information. And PCA also simplify the description of the data. It set and analyze the structure of the observations. Okay. Now we have seen today what is principal component analysis. Before studying principal component analysis, we have seen the two things, that is overfitting, underfitting. So overfitting means there are much more features are involved and the model must be, or testing data must satisfy all these features. Okay. And underfitting means very less features are defined, that will gives a, that may gives us error in the output. Okay. So to minimize the problem with the overfitting, we are using the principal component analysis. And one more fitting algorithm is that best fit. Best fit is the intermediate between the overfitting and underfitting. Okay. So principal component analysis is used to minimize the problem of overfitting. Now, in principal component analysis, we have to define the principal components. In our case, we are defining the views as principal component. So first view we are treating as principal component 1. Second view we are treating as principal component 2. So for both the views, the shape is same and data point positions are different. Okay. Now, two concepts we have seen, that is variance and covariance. Variance means how spread the data is from the function. So yellow line denotes the function or model or hypothesis, and these are blue are nothing but the data points. So we have to decide that how the data is spread or data set is spread. That is called as a variance. Covariance means what? It measures the extent, measures extent to which the corresponding elements from the two sets of order data move in the same direction. If we consider the two data sets, so we have to measure whether these two data sets move in the same direction or not. So it is calculated with the help of this formula. Okay. Then here the algorithm steps for PCA. So first step is to gather the reliable raw data. Second step, we have to calculate the correlations between the variables. In the third step, we have to calculate the principal components and that principal components are presented as a table. Then principal component analysis table is truncated and components are reported in order by the eigenvalue. Okay. Now, what is the objective of PCA? So, if you remember, in case of feature extraction, we have seen that PCA is used. Now, PCA is mainly used for feature extraction. It is mainly used for feature extraction.